Hi guys, hi. So, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys doing okay. Uh, as you can see, I am okay. There is one big pimple right here, but don't mind it. Honestly, I'm kind of tired. Like, who doesn't? But I'm really tired. Fortunately, I have time to like just chill and just exist here on earth or in this reality, but sometimes but also sometimes, nothing is working out for me, so I will be like, I just want to work hard. You know, for the entire time since ever I've been working, not really hard, but working hard toward something, like it was not my will, but kind of like social pressure, societal pressure, to work hard. I've been talking about this, but it's kind of, we can't avoid it, kind of. And I'm from Japan, so kind of like that pressure was really strong back in Japan. But now it's kind of ironic, or it's kind of paradoxically, but when I'm really busy and working towards something, or working really hard for something, I want break. But when I have spare time, when I'm taking a good rest, and it's lingering longer, then I want to work hard. But it is what it is. I can't help it, and it's just human thing, I guess. But recently I've been just seeking for, I just want to work hard or work towards something, just do it. But I feel like, but now is the season of my life where I take good rest or take good time to heal my wounds and drop all the weapons down and like really rest for next big thing to come for me. Does that make sense? So I feel like I'm just surrendering. I stopped working really hard because it was kind of just draining. It's not like I had like big goals to achieve, but I was just working hard for nothing, because that's how I felt like I needed to do it, in a way. So, but now I have lots of time and taking good rest, like I said, but I'm kind of getting tired of it. I don't know how to articulate this, but I just want to work hard, but now is not the time for me to work hard, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying, but but this is not something I want to talk about. Like, I'm currently in Canada, but when I was back in Japan, when I was there, living there, I felt like everything I see was everything. Does that make sense? Like, but now that I am in Canada currently, and when I kind of went outside of Japan, and my values and my perspective really broadened a lot, and I also realized that everything I see is not everything. Does that make sense? I took a memo, but I took a memo in Japanese, so sorry, there's laptop here. Everything you see, your world, the world you've been, the world you've seen or you see or you're in is not everything. We tend to feel like it is everything, but we tend to think that is everything, and we need to adapt to that environment. Does that make sense? Like, as everyone doing in that environment. But that's not true. And we feel like we need to live as everyone is doing in your current situation or in your environment. Does that make sense? Like, in your world, you see, which you think is everything, but it's not true. There is so many like things and places and that we've never experienced and we've never seen, you know, something like that, and we've never felt before. The world is unknown. So many things are unknown in this world. Like, we don't know anything about it. Like 1%, 2%, I don't know. If you are feeling hopeless, and if you are feeling like you're inferior, but that's not true. It's just not that you are inferior, but it's just not the environment or world that you are supposed to be, but it's just happening for you to learn, or, you know, it's just like, you know, evolve, or, you know, learn something, or, you know, it's just learning phase, or it's just evolving phase, you know, before you blossom later. Does that make sense? So everything you see, it's just not the place for you to blossom, or you will blossom later, sooner or later, eventually. But it's just timing is totally different for each person. So maybe some people get successful in their early 20s, but someone also get successful in their 30s or 40s or 50s. Of course, we want to get successful as soon as possible, as soon as we can, but it's just not the time. It's just, you know, it is what it is. We can't help it, and it's happening for you. And, you know, I was talking about this with my mom, but I kind of talked about recent my situation. I feel like I want to make a change, and I just want my life to work for me, but it's so stationary and stagnant, and like this stillness is kind of like killing me, kind of, in a way, even though I want it. It's kind of paradoxically, like I said, but whatever. And so my mom, so I burdening her in a way, so I apologized to her about that, and I am trying to make a change to myself. I am trying my heart. I am trying to make change, but I can't, and I'm always blaming myself for that, for me not getting any progress, or in my brain, in my perspective, in my sight, I feel like I am not making any progress. But my mom told me that you will get successful eventually, sooner or later. We'll never know. But I can say you will get successful, or you will get whatever you want eventually, but it's just now. But she told me that I am going through something like that also. Like, who doesn't? But she told me that, isn't it interesting? Interesting. I don't know how to translate this, but isn't it interesting or funny or interesting for you to experience so many things? Like she said, so if you get successful instantly, it's not funny, you know, like it's not interesting, or there's no growth. Maybe there is, but if you go through so many things to get to that point of getting successful, like going straight to there, or or you know, experience up and down and up and down and up and down and get there, you will end up like growing so much bigger, so much better, as you experience good and bad in the process. Does that make sense? So it is happening for you kind of like that. I hope that makes sense. But I was like, yeah, that is true. Because for me personally, I want to experience as much things as possible, like both good and bad. I want to experience like brightest, best moment of my life, but also I want to experience it's kind of weird to say I want to experience this, but the worst, like darkest moment of my life, because my life is once and I kind of already went through that, I guess, but I don't know. But you know, I just want to experience so many things. I came here to play. I came here to experience humanness, so that is what humanness is about. I don't know why, but for me personally, I think so. So, yeah, and I want to be able to like share the pain, share the pains, or you know, empathetic person. So, it's just. That's why I experienced so many both good and bad, because that's what I asked for in a way. So in a way, or you know, for sure, I asked for it. That's why so many things are happening to me, but that's what I asked for now that I think about it. Yeah, so, and what was I even talking about? Everything you see is not everything. Oh, yeah. And now,
Empathetic.
oh my gosh. Okay, thank you. Now that I am living in that side of Japan where I born and grew up in. So I feel like, and now I'm in Canada, like I said, and I've faced so many culture shocks and like so many realization or experiences that broaden my mind or broaden my perspectives. But I talked a little bit about this in earlier, but when I was back in Japan, I thought, for example, when I was back in high school, I thought like high school is everything, and so I thought that like when I'm back in high school, like high school is everything, so I have to be perfect in this environment. Does that make sense? So I felt like, so when I didn't have that much friends, but I had some best friends from high school, but when I had a fight with my best friend, I thought like this is the end of my life, like, because I had really a few friends back in high school, so me fighting against my best friend was like kind of like end of my life. And also I considered as smart kid when I was junior high or elementary school, because I was doing great. But back in high school, things getting harder and like more difficult and complicated concepts like math or physics and chemistry and all that. And I kind of failed several times, and I thought, and that was my first experience to fail something, like in school in general. At that moment, I was like, this is the end of my life, because I thought study is everything I can do, and that's the only thing I can do. That's what I thought back in high school or when I was a student. So when I failed, not failed, but I was not doing good. So compared to everyone around me or my classmates. So I was like, this is the end of my life. And I was kind of in a bad place. I was in a bad place in high school. I wish I could go back to high school, but I don't want to do the study part of high school again, ever, never ever again. So kind of like that. And I was always like worrying about relationship between, like, friendship or, you know, communication between my classmates and my best friends and my teacher and my grades and like everything and all that, because I thought that was everything back in high school when I was a high school student. But once I graduated from high school and I started working as a part of society, and I realized that I was so, like, my perspective was so narrowed down, because I thought high school was everything, and if I couldn't do well in high school, my life is done. Like, my life is done. Like, I'm doomed. Does that make sense? Like, but that was not true. Maybe if I had part-time job when I was in high school student, maybe I would have felt even better or different. But in my high school it was prohibited, so, and I didn't have enough time to do part-time job, but whatever, it's off topic. But you know, kind of like that, everything you see is not everything. But now I'm back in Japan. I thought I can say this to literally not everything, but kind of like everything, right? Everything you see is not everything. So now, on the surface, or in my sight, in my brain, I only can see my life is not working, and stationary, and stagnant, and stillness, and I'm kind of uncomfortable in this stillness. But I think this is a preparation phase, or, you know, preparation phase for next big thing to come, or, you know, does that make sense? Like, kind of like preparation phase for next thing. And I ended old cycle, and now is the time for me to start new cycle, and there's in between phase. That's why it feels stagnant and still and so boring. But it's just preparation phase. That's what I'm thinking. So there's so many things are orchestrated by divine, or by God, or by my ancestors, or, you know, something like that. So everything I see, everything you see is not everything. And that is also, can say, making mistakes. Making mistakes, I use this example, but it's just easy to give. So making mistakes, for example, on my human level brain, or on my human, or with my human level sight, brain, perception, perspective, making mistakes are bad. I used to think like that, making mistakes are bad. But making mistakes is actually not a bad thing. And it's now that I know it is not a bad thing, because you know, it's just an opportunity for you, for me to learn something, or have some sort of clarity, or, you know, it's just an opportunity for you to grow even better, greater. Like, it's just good. It is a good thing, making mistakes. So everything you see is not everything. Making mistakes is not a bad thing. I don't know if that made sense, but I hope it did. So everything you see is not everything. But, you know, life is always like up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down, like, you know, these cycle up and down, up and down, up and down. And sometimes suddenly I will have bad moments, like bad day, like all of a sudden, without warning or anything. It's just negative thoughts or negative perspective, negative thoughts, negative, like what I had before, I still do, but sometimes it came back without any warning and I will be negative. But it is okay. I don't know why I brought that up. Like, being negative is not, I feel like being negative is kind of like demonized by many gurus or, you know, people who are talking about spiritual things or self-development. But for me personally, there's negative so we can be positive. Does that make sense? Like, it's like a coin. So we need both negative and positive. And too much excessive negativity is kind of like, that's something I am telling you not to do it. But some of negativity is required, not required, but it is necessary. We don't need to like try to exclude it out of our lives. Does that make sense? So yeah, but what I'm trying to say here is just everything you see, the current situation you're in, or current environment you're in, or, you know, current society or world you see is not everything. Yeah, so honestly, no, this is gonna, if I talk about this, it'll be very, very long video, so I will stop it, but maybe I will talk about it in the next video. But yeah, I just wanted to say, everything you see, your current situation, your current environment, current world you're seeing, you're in, you think it's everything, which you think is everything is not everything. It's just remember that it will make your life easier. I really, really appreciate it if you watch till this moment at the end of this video. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you, and I hope you have a blessing and beautiful day today, or weekends, or whenever you're watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.